Any minute now, StreamYard. Sometimes it goes live before it tells me it's live. Let me check my.
It's showing live on my end.
Okay. What's up,
Yeah.
Tiger Gang? This is JT from the Poco Moonshine family. We're back again with another episode of Chatting with Carnivores. Today we got David here from Fuzzy Road to Health. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good today.
Yeah, I'm doing amazing too, man. And you guys, he just got a whole new setup for his YouTube, and he's killing it, man. You just moved into a new house, right?
Yeah, well, it's another apartment, but yeah, I mean, since going on carnivore and healing so much, I no longer needed the wheelchair accessible apartment, so we gave that up and moved into like a normal place, and now I've got actual real storage.
That's amazing. Yeah, and you guys, he's got a brand new kitchen for doing all his cooking videos, all sorts of stuff. But let's find out, where were you from and where are you at now, David?
Well, I've actually dealt with health problems most of my life. It's just, I was actually born with bronchitis. And up until I was
Hold on,
about.
wait. Let's just talk location first. Then we'll get into the.
Oh,
I meant where you from, where you at, like as far as location. Sorry about that.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I was born in northern British Columbia, Canada.
Okay.
And
BC.
Yeah,
BC buds out there.
BC,
I got a lot of BC buds back in the day.
We won't get into that. But the reputation is well founded.
And where are you at now? Are you still in BC?
No, I'm actually in northern Alberta. I'm not that far from where I was born. Okay. I have moved around a lot. I've been, kind of all over BC and Alberta. But
what's your favorite part about Alberta?
Oh, I love the mountains. I've got on a good day, I can see a bit of the mountains from here. If I want to really get into the mountains, a couple hours drive, and I'm in Jasper. So that's the mountains in Alberta and BC are pretty spectacular.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, I can imagine. I've never been up there, but obviously I've got the internet and I can see photos. So it's Canada looks like a beautiful place to visit. One day I'll get up there. I just need a passport.
Yeah,
if they'll give it to me. But David, why is your road to health been so fuzzy? What health conditions have you? What health conditions led you to the carnivore diet, my guy?
Well, like I was alluding to earlier, I've had health issues off and on all my life. When I was 13, I was diagnosed the first time with an autoimmune disease. It's called myasthenia gravis, causes severe muscle weakness. Actually, I guess I was diagnosed when I was 12, but I started getting treatment when I was 13. So my mom had actually taken me down to see a naturopathic doctor, and he put me on a special elimination diet and a bunch of vitamins, and he put me into remission for almost 30 years. And then back in about 2004, 2005, I started getting sick, or noticing that my health was deteriorating. I'd actually started having some neck problems a few years before I moved back up to Alberta. Mm-hmm. Didn't connect it. Now I know that that was actually osteoarthritis, which is another autoimmune disease. And in about 2004, 2005, started having some more issues. And then I started having the very first signs of the myasthenia gravis coming back. And that started pretty seriously in about 2007. Took me a few years to nail it down, and I was getting sicker all the time. But healthcare can be a little funny here in Canada. You can't just go to a doctor, pay to see him and get a diagnosis. Here, everything's paid for by the government, so you gotta go to your doctor and get a referral. And if he doesn't refer you to the right place or whatever, it can be an issue. And at the time, I'm sick. Just to put things in context, I'm 6'3", and at the time I weighed 540 pounds. So I couldn't fit in a normal MRI machine. And one of the first things they thought I had was MS. So to confirm that, they needed to do an MRI, and I couldn't fit in the MRI machine. So they needed to find a bigger one that I could fit in. And the only one that was big enough in Alberta was in the southern half of the province, which was a different medical district. So they got into like a 2.5 year fight over who was going to pay for it. Meanwhile, I'm almost dead, right? So, yeah, I mean, myasthenia gravis causes severe muscle weakness, and there's like a chemical that your muscles need to communicate with your nerves, and the autoimmune disease goes in and it kills that chemical that it needs to do the communication. So all of a sudden you can't walk, or by the time I was re-diagnosed officially, I couldn't talk, I couldn't swallow solid food, couldn't swallow pills. I was pretty much, any medications I had to take, either I had to chop them up and into like a powder, or I had to get a liquid version of it, and couldn't breathe very well, couldn't walk unassisted, or couldn't stand unassisted. And, I was probably a couple of months away from death if they hadn't have, officially diagnosed me and started treatment. The day that I was officially diagnosed, they actually put me right into the ER at the hospital, and didn't even get to go back to the hotel room. And so I spent some time in the hospital, and they did some treatments. Had something called plasmapheresis. Basically, I won't get into all the gory details, but they basically they remove your blood, and as they're removing it, they centrifuge it, pull the plasma out, and then replace it with artificial plasma, and then pump it back into your body. So basically, I got like a complete oil change in 4 hours, and then they did that like 5 times altogether. And it's the plasma that those bad antibodies are living in. So by getting rid of that, it was like a miracle. By the end of those treatments, I was walking and talking and able to eat solid food and the whole 9 yards. So problem is that doesn't last. And so they let me out of the hospital, and then they brought me back in a few months later and repeated the treatments to make sure I was strong enough. And then I had surgery. And because of my weight, they couldn't go in laparoscopically, but there was a gland that's supposed to go away during puberty. After your immune system is fully developed, it's supposed to just go away, and didn't. It reactivated and actually split into several pieces. So that's why I got so sick so fast. So they had to go in and remove it, but they couldn't use the laparoscopic tools. So they had to do like open heart surgery on me, because that gland is just above the heart. It's called the thymus. So they removed that, and then with medication, it stabilized me to a degree, but over a period of about a year, I was kind of back bedridden again. So I was all told I was bedridden for about 10 years. And during the time that they were diagnosing me with this, they found a bunch of other autoimmune diseases that I have as well. There was the osteoarthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, which is another disease. It affects the back. And my back has been most affected by the arthritis. I had actually some missing discs that had ruptured and then just kind of deteriorated away to nothing. But, I think I was about 6 months carnivore, and I went in for an MRI, and those 3 discs that had been gone were back. They were completely regenerated. But the damage from the arthritis was causing a different kind of pain with my back. So I'm still looking at surgery, just not spinal fusion surgery anymore. So that's a big relief. So so over time, I lost a bit of weight. I went on the keto diet there for a while, but after being bedridden for 10 years, I kind of had enough. I'd realized by that point that Western medical science really had nothing more to offer. They couldn't really, unless I wanted to go in for a plasma exchange every three to 6 months, which wasn't really feasible because the nearest place to get it is like, a 5-hour drive, 5.5-hour drive. So not really feasible to go do that all the time, because when I do that, I have to stay in the hospital for like 10 days. So it's just not really feasible to do. So they didn't really have anything else to offer me. And then I remember back to when I was a kid, and that doctor had put me into remission. So I couldn't talk to my mom and ask her, because by this point she had Alzheimer's. So she had really no memory that I could count on. So I started doing a bunch of research and slowly started getting myself a little better so I could start getting off medications. I was on like 19 different medications, many of which were painkillers, and many of which were medications to counteract the side effects of the more serious medications. It's just kind of a vicious spiral that never ends, right? And I started off on 8 or 9 medications, and it wasn't long before I was sitting at 19 different medications. So the first thing I needed to get off of, they had me on all these opioids for my back. So they had me on something called Hydromorph, which is it's like about one step away from fentanyl. It's like halfway between morphine and fentanyl. It's like really super strong. And they had me on pretty big doses of that. And for many, many years, like I was 10, 12 years on that garbage. And so I knew that was the first step I needed to do, was to get off of that. So on my own, I started tapering off the morphine. And when I gotten off it for a little while, at the time, the only way you could get access to cannabis legally was to go get a prescription. So at the time, I went and got a prescription and started getting the medical grade cannabis to deal with the pain in my back, and also deal with the withdrawals coming off the opioids. And it worked. I mean, I got to a point when I got down to a certain low level, I had to go to my regular family doctor, and say, look, I need you to put me on a like a really serious measured plan to get me the rest of the way. So that he came up with a prescription plan that tapered me off at a safe level, and start to finish, it was about, I think, 9.5 months, something like that. And once I got off of that, then I was able to start having a clear enough head to start doing better research and that kind of thing. So I started off with certain types of vitamins and some energy work. I don't know if you've heard of it at all. It's called Quantum Touch, kind of similar to Reiki, only you can administer it on yourself. I was trying anything and everything to see what would work and what wouldn't. And, some of the stuff worked, some of it didn't, but I was all able to progress. And I got a little more serious about the keto diet, and I had actually lost a big chunk of weight. I had gotten down to like 340 pounds. So it was like, by that point, it was like a 200-pound loss. And then COVID hit, and I started putting a bunch back on. I went off the diet, got depressed, couldn't go out and work out, that kind of thing. And, it's no excuse. It's just what happened. I got depressed, and, I've also got bipolar. So I was, kind of fighting with that and in some real deep depression phases. So that's sometimes that can be a little difficult to even want to go on at that point. But, so I was still, certain circumstances and stresses would kind of bring that out. So I went off the keto diet, and I put a whole ton of weight back on. I shot back up to about 480 pounds. And so back in April 2022, I went back on keto. I have my daughter's wedding coming up, so I knew I had to try and lose some weight before that, at least, although I didn't get much off by then. But but I got down, by the time the following December rolled around, I had gotten down to 390, so I lost about 90 pounds. But and then I got stuck. And of course, I was still dealing with the autoimmune stuff. I mean, I could walk around, and I hadn't used the wheelchair in a while, and the walker was kind of parked. So I mean, I was doing a lot better, but I still, if I had to climb a set of stairs, that was like a huge deal for me. And yeah, that's just, that was all still there, and I got stuck at that weight and couldn't get out of it. So I started doing some more researching and doing a little prayer, looking for answers. And a couple days later, I stumbled across another video by Dr. Barry. It's funny, I had seen some videos of his before, but they were for different medical issues. There was no discussion of carnivore on those ones. But this time I ran across one where he was talking about not only carnivore to help restart my weight loss, but healing autoimmune disease. And that made me sit up and take notice. And by the time I was done watching that video, I knew that this was the right path. So just deep inside, I knew this was the answer I was looking for. And I spent a few days, did a bunch of research, and I've got Asperger's. So, getting kind of single-mindedly focused on something and going off the deep end is kind of the norm for me anyway. And so I went nuts and started learning, and a few days later, I talked to my wife. She really didn't want me to do it. She'd heard all these horror stories and, bought into all this false narrative that we all had about what diet and nutrition is all about. So I finally got to a point where I just had to say, look, you're not the one living in my body, and I've got to try this. If it doesn't work, I haven't lost anything. Right. And within 3 weeks, she was a believer. Yeah, I mean, things started happening pretty quick. I was talking about what an issue it was to climb the stairs, and that actually is kind of relevant for this because just before I started carnivore, I had to go out somewhere, and by the time I got back, there was a power outage, so no elevator. So I had to climb 2 flights of stairs to get to the second floor. And I mean, it took both hands on the rail, pulling with all the strength I had, one step at a time. It took me about 5 or 6 minutes to get to the top of the stairs. And I was shaking and quivering, and I could barely walk into the apartment and get onto the couch. And I couldn't move for about 3 hours. I mean, I was just completely done. And fast forward I've been on carnivore about 2 weeks, and I had to go for some blood tests, and came back, and another power outage. This time it was planned because they had to fix what they jury rigged the first time after the parts came in, that kind of thing. So I had to climb the stairs again. This time it was completely different, 3 weeks later maybe. And I went up the stairs like a normal person, one hand on the rail, just walked right beside my wife, got to the top. I was a little winded because, badly out of shape, of course, but 10 minutes on the couch and I was fine. And my wife was absolutely stunned. My mind was blown. I'm like, what is going on? How is this even possible? And what's really interesting is those blood tests. Actually, I'd gone for, so those blood tests I was about a little over 2 weeks on carnivore, or maybe close to 3 weeks when I got those blood tests done. And those blood tests were actually for my neurologist. So I had been on carnivore officially exactly 1 month. And my neurologist looked at my test results, asked me some questions, and took me off the last of my autoimmune medication. And that was a couple of days later. I had 2 other prescriptions I was still on, which I subsequently got off of as well. So now I'm completely medication free, and I've lost a total of I'm down total right now about 215 because like I said, I put on a couple. But I'm actually still getting skinnier, even though the weigh scale says I'm not losing right now. I just got into some clothes. Yeah, I got into clothes today that I haven't been able to wear in years. And this has been a running theme, get pull some more clothes out that I had to pack away for a couple of years. And yeah, it's and I've been giving away lots of clothes, of course, as I've been losing the weight. And I have no fear about putting all that weight back on. It's not going to happen because
You
my
won't
health
need those
is.
shirts back.
No. My health is completely different now. I went from uh, a 5X shirt, and now I can fit into a 3X, and it's not going to be much longer before I can probably get into a 2X. And once my back heals up from the big move, it's healing very slowly, but once it heals up, I can feel already that my body is stronger than it was before the move. And so I'm hoping that it's going to heal up enough that I can actually start getting to the gym. I've got a membership and everything. I just haven't been able to go because my back has been such an issue. But hopefully after this, I can get in there. When I was in my 20s, I was at the gym all the time. But it's going to be nice to get back in there.
Absolutely. I just want to put this up. Peachy Pam, JT, you have an echo when you speak. Me and David are aware. He has a little bit of a hearing problem, so he has to have his speakers up a little bit more to hear me. So you guys will just have to put up with that echo, okay? Okay.
Hey, you know what? Let me try something here. I wonder if my wireless headphones will work with this.
Let's see it.
Oh, it's not connecting. Yeah, give me a second here.
Oh, you're all good. Yeah, appreciate all my Tiger Gang tuning in here. David has a really cool story. He's taking us through his fuzzy road to health here. I absolutely love that name.
Yeah, it comes from an old nickname of Fuzzy D. So, and now it's kind of become my brand.
I like it.
I'm trying to see, where is my Bluetooth isn't activating for some reason.
Yeah, you can take your time. I'll go through a couple of comments here. How you doing, Mike? Got an interview coming up with you, bud, pretty soon. Bold Carnivore, how you doing? I'm definitely your bold friend. Good evening, all low carbists. How you doing? Sweet Nia's life. Hey, girl, how you doing? I want to get you on here. Renee, good evening. How you doing? She says evening, everyone. Shout out to Renee. Yo. I can't. Now my echo's gone. Can you hear me, David? Oh, now I can't hear you, David. We'll get it. DC, learn and live. Hey, JT, doing well, David. Hello, carnivores. David's just hooking up his microphone. When he's back ready, we'll continue with the questions. Yeah, I can't hear you on my end, David. Bold Carnivore says hello. Sweet Nia says, God bless David. Yep. And God is blessing him very well. He's losing weight. He's killing it. Bold Carnivore, question, what good did the quantum touch do? Okay, we'll get right to that as soon as David gets his headset connected to his computer so you guys don't have to deal with that echo. He's got a little bit of a hearing issue, so he needed his speakers up so you could hear my voice, folks. So I am aware of the echo, and we're just trying to work through it, okay? Hanging with the Browns. Let's go. I tagged you guys in a cool little cute little song by Just Friends. It's a band called Just Friends. And I'm telling you, it reminded me of the Browns. I absolutely love that song. How's it going, David? Did you get it figured out? You there, David? Oh, I can't hear you, bud. Okay, well, I'm just gonna give him time. I don't want to Yeah, we can't. We're having troubles hearing you, bud. Yep, look at God. He's doing good. I'm telling you. You know, and you guys, his max weight was 480 pounds. Now he's down 215 to about 218 pounds of weight loss. He's just killing it on carnivore. Moved into a new apartment. Um, he even regenerated the discs in his spine. You guys, I mean, it's absolutely amazing the stuff that David's got going on here. Is hopefully we can get him get his audio working again, so I can have him. You guys hear from him. But regenerated the disc in his spine. He's no longer in the wheelchair. For those wondering, David started his carnivore journey on January 16th, 2023. So he's been doing it a minute. Huh. Maybe try disconnecting that headset that you connected so we can talk the way we were. I'm sure they can handle the echo. Wow, so cool. Sweet Nia, I want to get you on here, girl. Hoko Musha. Hey, my wife is on here. Hey, how you doing, sweetie? My wife Anna. Bypass Carnivore. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? Sweet Nia says hi, Anna, to my wife. Thank you for doing that. G and Anna, how you doing? Yep, Just Friends. That's the name of the band. We're gonna give him a minute, folks. I'm sure he'll be back in here. He's just trying to reset it up. Yeah, it's a great band, Just Friends. You know, and let me pull up this Just Friends. I think the song is called "I Want to Love You" by Just Friends. And that song, every time I hear it, it reminds me of hanging with the Browns because they like to travel a lot. And it's the song's got traveling. You'll see when you hear about it. It's a great song and it's a sweet song. Just Friends is actually my favorite band. If you guys are wondering, I was wondering if that could happen. Disc regenerate. Yeah, I didn't know it was possible until David. He says his scans showed them not there. Like they grinded up apart, and then when he retook his scans, they were there. So call it a carnivore miracle. Like miracles do happen. You just have to have the faith. So, maybe David's faith was so strong that the Lord helped him regenerate those discs with the carnivore diet. That would be amazing. My metamorphosis. Hey, Carrie, how you doing? Good evening, all. She says. You guys, I'm just waiting for David to come back in here, so I'm gonna hold it down. If you guys got any questions for me in the meantime, put a Q in front of it, okay? Let me check out some comments here. We'll hang out and we'll give David a chance. I don't want to bail on him. This is his interview. Yes, Sweet Nias, I had 4 herniated and 3 bulging discs, and the 3 have healed completely, and the 4th is better. That's amazing, Renee. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing, you guys. Yeah, I just went to the dentist today and I put out a short. I had the whole dentist office talking about carnivore diet, and I think half of them in there were vegans, which is fine. I don't argue because how are you going to gain allies if you argue with everybody and fight with them? So I'm just very cordial, and if doing vegan diet works for them, that's great. But the carnivore diet is working for me, so that's what I'm not going to shut up about. So if they were all very open to hear about the carnivore diet, which was very fun. And she tried giving me a Starbucks gift card for shouting her the Mequon Smile design is what they're called, the dentist office. But I don't have any use for Starbucks. But I just said I'll just do it for free out of love because I love you guys. Question: when are you going to eat a puffy head chicken? I never heard of a puffy head chicken. What's a puffy head chicken? Can you guys let me know? What is a puffy head chicken? Now, Brett from Who's Your Carnivore, Brett's my carnivore. He was just frying up some chicken skin. What was that, with bacon fat or something, Brett? Let me know, because you guys, I made a video the other day, and I'm telling you, if you guys want to get mass amount of views on your shorts, do anything that includes your bacon fat that you keep. So when you get done cooking your bacon, pour the pan out in like a little glass dish and let it sit and get solid. And the next day, cut a video with you cooking something with that bacon fat. And I tell you, the internet freaks out anytime you do something with bacon or bacon fat. So I added bacon fat to the ground beef. Oh man, they telling me bro, you're gonna have a heart attack, bro. You're gonna die, bro. Bro, you're stupid, bro. Your diet is stupid, bro. I hope you die like a stupid dumbass. Every time I put out a short, I tell you, I literally get hate comment after hate comment after hate comment after hate comment. It doesn't bother me. I've got 41 million views, so I've seen a lot of hateful comments. Um, the only time hateful comments bother me is when they're aimed towards like my friends or my family. But otherwise, if somebody says something about me, it doesn't really matter. But just something for you guys out there. If you guys want to have a really viral short, do something with bacon grease because apparently it pisses the internet off. Just throwing that out there for you guys. Question: are you going on the cruise? I don't know if I'm be going on the cruise. I have a young son, so I don't know. He's really fast, and I wouldn't want him falling off the boat. So I would have to probably pass on the cruise this year and wait till he got a little bit older, just out of safety concerns for my son. Because if something happened to him on the cruise, I would just be upset. So just keeping it real. But otherwise, I'm more than happy to help you guys promote it. You guys hanging with the Browns, they're putting on a carnivore cruise. And I did an interview with them. Great couple, awesome couple, love them. And I put all the details for the cruise inside of the description of their interview with Chatting with Carnivore. So if you're interested in the Carnivore cruise and you guys get to hang out with the Browns, they've got like an agent that's setting this all up. It's amazing. And if you book right now in time, you guys can all be in a similar area on the ship. You guys don't have to, because if you don't book in this time window that they got, and you still book, you can probably make it on the ship, but you won't be around the other carnivores. So, just think about it. It's a great opportunity. You get to not just hang out with the Browns, but you get to have a great experience and hang out with the Browns. So it's a great selling point. I think it's a great idea. And I've heard of like the keto cruise, and I love how the Browns were like, man, let's do carnivore. Like they are so awesome. So lot of respect and shout out to the Browns because they're helping us raise our game. We're leveling up as the carnivore community with the Browns, hanging with the Browns being in our community. So I hope you guys aren't sleeping on their channel. Go subscribe, Hanging with the Browns. Absolutely love them. Yep. Yeah, I'm still here. Okay, he's back, you guys. How you doing, David? Can you hear me, bud? David. Mike says, I have a 30th birthday on December 1st. Should I do carnivore challenge, 30 hard-boiled eggs, or Texan challenge on the other ideas? I've been seeing a lot of people doing food challenges, which is cool. But I was thinking about doing like a 30-day imagination challenge where we try to use our imagination for 5 minutes a day. And in that 5 minutes, you write down what ideas that you've gotten in that 5 minutes. So any cool idea, as random as it is, write it down and see what all the ideas look like at the end of the 30 days. You take 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. And at the end of the 30 days, you're going to have so many cool ideas. One of those ideas is bound to get you rich, folks. Let's see if we can get him here again. David, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
Let's go. We're back, folks.
Sorry about that. When I turned the headphones on, Bluetooth, it just messed everything up.
Yeah.
So it took me a minute to figure out that's what the cause was.
No, you're all good. Bypass carnivore, rolling on the floor, JT, not eat, get. Oh, what did I read something wrong? You need a homestead, JT, and get a bunch of them puffy head chickens. Oh, you were chasing kids. Okay, eat. I saw. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I absolutely love those little puffy head chick. They had the cutest little hair puffs, and the little dude had the little chicken had a hair puff, but he had a bald spot in the middle of it. I thought it was the cutest dang thing I've ever seen. Now let's. I'll get to this. Here, one more question. We'll get to question, JT. Do you and Anna like eggs from better than store eggs? Oh, farm eggs better than store eggs. Can you tell a difference? At first I couldn't tell a big difference. There is a slightly better taste. It's not dramatic, okay? but it is a slightly better taste, and the eggs seem slightly more yellow when I scramble them. So I don't know what that is. But also, I add a lot of Redmond's real salt to my eggs, and it literally makes the eggs dance off the plate into my mouth and down my throat. I absolutely love putting Redmond's real salt on my scrambled eggs. What about you? What type of eggs do you like, David?
I don't eat eggs very often anymore.
You got a
But
histamine problem or something?
I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I just tried eating some eggs here again for the first time in months. And it actually gave me stomach cramps. But to be
Mm.
fair, they were pickled eggs.
I've never heard of what is a pickled egg? I've never heard of that.
Oh, well, you just mix up a brine of vinegar, like white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, some water, some salt, some pickling spices, and throw some hard boiled eggs in there, and peeled, of course.
Yeah.
And they're really popular up here in Canada. And I mean,
Pickled eggs. I'm gonna write that down. You should do a video on that, David.
yeah, I will be actually. Yeah. As much as I like them, I don't think I'm going to be able to eat them. I tried them again today, and same
Stomach
thing. I
cramp?
started getting cramps within, 30, 40 minutes.
Hmm.
So it could be the spices, the pickling spices. So,
Well,
and
you're starting to listen to your body a lot more, and it'll if you listen, it'll tell you what's going on, what it doesn't like.
yeah, for sure.
So now we went over some of the health issues. How's your thyroid issue doing, David?
Well, I think I've pretty much got it under control now. I got some new supplements. Well, I guess it's a couple weeks ago now. Actually, be about 3 weeks ago. So like before, I was taking iodine, or potassium iodide drops, and well, like a dropper full now, but that wasn't working by itself. So I then added ginger powder and turmeric, and discovered that I'm reactive to turmeric, so I had to cut that out.
Mm.
And the ginger, it did help a bit, but not enough. And then I got these new supplements. So I'm taking something now called NAC with selenium.
What's that?
Uh,
What's this NAC?
NAC stands for a big, long name that I'll never pronounce.
Okay. But what is it? What are you taking? It helps the thyroid?
Yeah. It helps the thyroid start producing normally. See, with my particular thyroid issue, like I've got hypothyroidism.
Okay.
So my TSH levels, they're way out of whack because they're, it's signaling the rest of my body to produce the hormones, but they're not producing it.
Mm.
So now, of course, the doctor wanted to put me back on a prescription, but I convinced him to, give me some time. Let me do some more research. I know the iodine thing didn't work, but I thought I'd found the answer, so I didn't look any further. So let me do some more research and try some things. And that's what I did. And there was a very kind lady. I believe she's a doctor, or maybe she's a nurse practitioner or something like that. What was her name? I wanted to give her a shout out because she was so helpful. It might come to me later.
Yeah, if you think of it, just shout her out. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So she gave me some good advice on a couple things I could try, and then when I went to look for them locally, they only had like the kind of the larger brands, which had a bunch of fillers in, and I couldn't use. So she actually found me some stuff I could order that didn't have the fillers in it, and that's been extremely helpful. There's another doctor that's given me some good advice too. She's a naturopath from Australia. Her name is Christina Mathewson, and she gives some really good advice too. So I've got like an order for blood tests for checking my thyroid and a few other things that I'll be doing here probably in a week or two. I want to be completely back off the cannabis for a few days before I go in for my tests. So still having to use a little bit to deal with the pain, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, if you got something that the carnivore diet can't help, like and cannabis helps you get rid of some of your pain, then more power to you. I got no judgment on you, bud. Now,
Yeah, a lot of people are a lot more accepting of it now that it's been kind of proven how well it works for many things. So
mhm.
I know one of the medications I was on, like prescription medication, was actually derived from cannabis. They took out some of the ingredients and then reproduced them chemically. The problem with that medication, though, was that because it wasn't natural, it could react in the body in some weird ways, and it could cause suicidal depression.
I never understood why they try to remake something that already is pretty much well designed naturally, and then you're not going to make it as good as God made it. Like, why even try, dude?
No, it's all about profits, because if they reproduce it chemically, then they can patent it and bank on it.
Mm.
So that's that. A lot of the medicines that they trot out are derived from natural sources like that, but they've corrupted it to where you get all these side effects.
Mm.
And don't get me wrong. Western medicine, they have some great things that they've done. Especially when it comes to surgery and that kind of thing. But when it comes to treating underlying causes of health issues, most doctors know next to nothing. They've been trained in a certain way to isolate an individual problem and try and fix just that one thing by treating the symptoms and not the underlying cause in most cases.
Mm.
And it's the way that I don't think anybody set out on purpose to make it this way, but over the decades of pharmaceutical companies developing products and companies lobbying and big corporations getting involved with money on all sides, and insurance and medicine, they're all kind of working together to create this whole thing, where they want you to stay sick so they can keep treating you and make money off you.
Profits over people, and it just disgusts me. It's so disgusting, man. And the people who knowingly work like that with that mindset, to have like knowingly that they're putting profits over people, man, shame on them, dude. And how they even go to bed at night, man, I'm not even sure, dude. They must put their head on their money, their pillow stacked with money.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, man. Now, can we talk about your regenerated discs in your spine? Because I think that's absolutely amazing, dude. It's like a miracle.
Yeah, I'm still kind of wrapping my brain around it.
Me too. Since I heard you talk about it, I was like, holy crap. I can't wait to ask him about this.
Yeah, when I I've had a history of issues with my back. It kind of started when I was, how old was I? I think I was 17 or 18, and I was working at a job where I was jumping down into a big hole instead of climbing down. So it was like 6 foot, 66 foot holes that we were digging, not graves, but they looked very much like a grave. It was for something completely different, but we were digging down, and then I'd be jumping down into the hole to get the last of the stuff out of the hole, and I started compressing discs in my lower back. And over the years, sometimes it would get better, sometimes it would get worse. If I started putting on weight for some reason, of course, it would make it worse. And back in 1986, I was in a motorcycle accident. So I was laid up in the hospital for quite a long time. They had to rebuild my leg from knee to ankle.
What type of motorcycle were you driving?
Oh, I just had a little 550 Honda Super Sport, just for running around. I was living in Calgary at the time. And I'd actually just been to church softball practice and was heading home. And one of the guys that was at practice with me was taking a different route to his home. And he ran a stop sign and broadsided me. And he was driving a station wagon.
Oh,
so yeah, lots of kinetic energy there. So yeah, I probably should have died in that accident, but there was lots of stuff that happened that conspired to save my life. And it was kind of interesting how it happened. As the accident happened, there was a lady just getting off of like a city transit bus coming home. She'd been working out in the bush as a first aid attendant.
Oh, wow. How lucky is that?
Yeah, industrial first aid attendant, and she still had all of her gear with her.
Oh,
So yeah, she was getting off the bus and she heard the accident and came right over. There was also a cop car with 2 officers in it sitting at the other side of the intersection and saw the accident happen, which was a big help coming lawyer time. But yeah, so I mean, they got on the radio and called the ambulance. So I mean, had the ambulance there in less than 4 minutes. Although the reporter managed to get there before the ambulance, snapping pictures. So I made the Calgary Herald that Sunday.
oh no.
Front page news.
So, did you back to your disc? You had another scan and then they just popped up, right?
Yeah, I had, like I said, they gotten worse over the years, and I'd had a bad fall back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s that really damaged them pretty bad again, or 2 of them anyway. So I'd gone in for some various CT scans, and the last CT scan I had was 2019, and in that scan, 2 of the discs were completely gone. The third one was badly ruptured and wasn't expected to last very long at all. And there was another one that was kind of bulging, but would still be okay for the time being. And when I went to get my MRI, I still had a bulging disc, but the 3 that had been completely destroyed were completely regenerated. And I was absolutely stunned. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like where did these pop back from?
Yeah, I mean, the last time I had talked to a specialist about my back, they were talking spinal fusion surgery. And because of how many discs were gone, I was probably going to be getting like 5 vertebrae fused together. And that's a fair loss of movement, and especially right where they are or were. That would have been some pretty serious surgery. But as it turns out, now they've regenerated that. The pain in my back is different and it's located differently. So what I've got now is, it's a result of the years and years of arthritis damaging my back. So on the spine, there's like these little horns that come off the side of each vertebrae, and nerves branch off the spinal cord and go in between those horns. And those horns kind of protect them, or they're supposed to protect them. But in my case, the arthritis made them really rough and excess bone growth and stuff in there. So it's like pinching and rubbing on the nerves. Mm. So, I mean, it's still pretty serious, but they can go in and with a chisel and some sandpaper basically, and fix it right up. I'll probably, I've got a similar problem in my neck and the middle of my back. The middle of my back is actually the worst. So I'm probably looking at 2, maybe 3 surgeries. I don't think they're going to want to try and do my entire back and neck all in one surgery. That's pretty unlikely.
Oh.
But and once I heal up from that, hopefully by then I'll have lost enough weight that I'll be ready for the skin removal surgery. So
you're killing it, man. Just the fact that you're on your way to skin removal surgery shows you how much weight you're losing, my dude.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, and it's completely. I mean, we all have dreams, right? Of things we'd like to be able to do one day, but I had completely given up on those. I'd resigned myself to the fact that I was going to be probably bedridden or at least wheelchair bound for pretty much the rest of my life. And then carnivore comes along and just completely dumps everything on its head. I mean, I've got 8 autoimmune diseases in total. 3 of them are skin related stuff. So 5 of them are pretty serious. and from what I can tell, they're all in remission. While the skin diseases, sometimes they flare a little bit if I get under stress or something.
Mm-hmm.
But and I mean, the other is stress can flare the other ones too. I actually started getting a little sick there for a couple of weeks from all the stress and the pain and
From
everything.
moving.
But yeah, I'm settling back in now. The last week I've been doing a lot better, except for the back pain. But
Yeah, you guys, he and he did pull his back out when he was moving all, because he just moved to a new apartment building, so he was kind of lifting some heavy stuff, right, David?
yeah, well, the worst damage happened when there was a big box that my wife had put up on top of the fridge, and when she had filled that box with its contents, I was so zoned out on painkillers and bedridden most of the time that I didn't remember what was in it.
Yeah,
So
all the bowling balls.
yeah, so she asked me to move it off of the fridge, and it. I was expecting a weight that was commensurate with the size of the box, but yeah, no, it could have been. When I first pulled it off of there and the weight hit me, it was like completely unexpected, and so I wound up pulling a muscle in my back pretty bad. But it turned out it was like the ashes from my brother-in-law and my mother-in-law. So that one caught me by surprise. Plus all the packing and moving and carrying stuff I probably shouldn't have been. I got a little impatient with not being able to do stuff, so I was trying to do more and more, and I think I pushed myself a little harder than I probably should have.
You were in a wheelchair, right?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
now
was.
you're moving stuff like a U-Haul mover, man. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, when it came to the big move, like I packed up my office, of course, and moved a lot of stuff before the big move. But by the day of the big move, I'd done enough damage to my back that I wasn't a lot of help. I sat in a chair and watched people do the move for me.
well, take it at your own. You don't want to push yourself, and then you're taking step backwards. So just take it at your own pace. Who's your carnivore says he subbed to your channel? Sub to Fuzzy.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate that. Sweet Nia says, "Thank God." I think she was talking about how you didn't die in that accident.
Yeah.
Oh, here's
Yeah,
a
it's fun.
question for you, David. Question: what good did the quantum touch do?
Oh, the quantum touch I was able to use to
What is the
deal.
quantum touch too? Could I'm a not the brightest bulb in the pack. Could you enlighten me?
Okay, well, every person has like natural energy pathways, and like back when I think I was 15 or 16. I think I was 15, or well, maybe I was 16. Anyway, my mom was taking a course in Zen Shiatsu massage, and she needed a partner to work with because they didn't have the even number of people in the class. So I said, sure, I'll come and help you out, and discovered that I really liked it and kind of had a natural ability for doing that kind of thing. And so with shiatsu massage, you're basically activating pressure points along these energy pathways in the body, and you can actually affect a fair amount of healing that way. And it can be good for pain relief and that kind of thing. And then when I was starting to study this new stuff, and they were talking about this quantum touch, and basically it's a way of manipulating with your mind the same energy that flows through those channels in the body, the meridians. And martial arts, they're familiar with the energy, and they call it chi.
Mm.
It's the same energy force as chi. And basically you learn to be able to feel that energy and control it and move it through your body to places you want it to be. And it can take a little practice, but most people can learn how to do it to some degree. Now my grandfather was he wasn't officially a shaman, but he was kind of a healer. He could heal with his hands. And my mom, from time to time, demonstrated the same ability. And my grandfather was also able to dowse for water. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
Mm-mm.
Basically, he could use like a forked stick and find water. So like the stick would point down at the water when he'd walk over like an underground stream.
Oh,
And now he never got a chance to teach me how to do it, but uh, a mentor that I had in Dawson Creek when I was a teenager, he did it as well, and he showed me some different techniques, and I turned out to be a natural for being able to do that. Right from the first time I tried it, I was able to do it quite readily. So yeah, I mean, when I finally get my own piece of property, I'll be able to go find water.
that's so awesome! I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, and it's so I think that's probably one of the reasons that the quantum touch worked for me, because I've got a kind of a natural affinity for handling energy and stuff. And right from the time I think I was 9 or 10 when I started getting a lot of headaches. So back then I started learning self hypnosis to deal with pain.
Hmm.
So I've had a pretty good ability to concentrate on, focus on things.
Do you get headaches on carnivore?
Well, I did the first 3 weeks or so. I got a lot of headaches on carnivore. Actually, I pretty much had a one big headache for the first 14, 15 days.
Really?
But that's from, getting off all the sugar and the vegetables and stuff. Now I wasn't a caffeine drinker. I used to be a huge coffee drinker back in the day, but I gave up caffeine back in, what was it, 95? So
It's amazing.
So that, but some people, if they're coffee drinkers or Coke drinkers or something, and then they get a double whammy because they got sugar and caffeine, and then of
How did you
course,
quit coffee? Did you just quit cold turkey, or did you wean yourself off like by putting butter in there or something? What did you do?
uh, well, I had, like I said, I had, last coffee I had was, or at least coffee with caffeine in it was, like 1995. So I quit cold turkey when I moved. I was living in Vancouver for a while, for a few years, and when I decided I had enough of the big city, and I came back up north, I I'd been up working and stuff before I came up, so I knew I was going to have a problem staying awake. It was a long drive, Normally it's like a 16-hour drive to go from between the two places.
My ass
And
would hurt.
so a little thermos of coffee and a bunch of caffeine pills, and away I went. And I was so messed up on caffeine by the time I got to the other end. It took me hours to get to sleep, and I had been up for, 2 days. So that's I decided right then and there that nah, it's caffeine. That's enough of that. So fortunately, I was kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So I went and stayed with on my mom's farm for a while when I first came back up to this area. And she lived way out of town, and she didn't have coffee or anything like that. So it was a good time to quit. There was no temptations around.
It was a good time to quit.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a
And
question here. I like to ask everybody: would you take $1 million to go back to your old way of eating?
not a chance.
No, it's. I've been trying to give away that money to somebody, man. Nobody's taking. And some people think that's like a biased question, and it's really not. You've been on carnivore diet long enough to know whether it's working or not. And if it wasn't working, you would happily take the $1 million and skedaddle.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I've heard that question floated around in the community for a while. And yeah, I've given some serious thought about that. And there is just no way that I would give up the health I've got now, and the increasing health. I'm
Yeah,
getting
you're
better every
headed in
day.
the right direction rather than the
Yeah,
wrong direction.
exactly. I mean, I feel younger now at 57 than I did when I was 30.
Wow. Yeah, I just turned 34, and honestly, I feel like I'm 18.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel amazing, man. I really do. Now, could you give 3 tips for any beginner carnivores out there? What are 3 good tips that would help a beginner?
I think the first tip I would give anyone is don't start carnivore like I did. I just jumped in both feet, full bore, carnivore instantly, and that's a bad idea. I mean, I was pretty sick for about 3 weeks. The headaches, and of course the diarrhea, and just general feeling like I've got the flu as I was shedding
So
oxalates.
you had the keto flu, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah, big time.
I didn't get the
So
keto flu. I cannonballed right into it, and I don't suggest other people do that, but I cannonballed right into it, David.
yeah, just like me. Oh, and I think a lot of us do when we realize we found the answer. We wanted to jump
You
in
get excited.
and get better. But when you spent as many years as I was being so unhealthy, just jumping in that fast probably isn't the best idea. Some other advice I would give is don't just start jumping off your medications.
Yeah.
Work with your doctor. Even if your doctor doesn't agree with what you're doing, they'll usually be willing to run tests every so often and make sure you're doing things safely. And the results will speak for themselves. Eventually, your doctor, they may not like what you're doing, but they can't deny the results. And you have to be doing the diet for yourself. I mean, we could get into all the details and stuff, but there's lots of video channels out there, YouTube channels that they can take you through all the steps. But it's important that you have to stay strong against the naysayers. There's always going to be people out there, spouting this nonsense at you about the health stuff that they've been convinced of all their lives,
Mhm.
and they have so much ego tied up in this, what they've been led to believe and how they've lived their lives, that it's really difficult for them to admit that they were duped, that they were
They get
wrong.
very judgmental, when they, feel the need to justify their actions, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly right. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges that new carnivores face is the pushback from people. And it just comes to a point where you got to say, look, I'm the one that's living in my body. I can feel the results of what I'm doing. And
Yeah, who you to tell me, man? This is my body. This is my journey.
I usually, what I'll tell them is something to the effect of, I appreciate your concern, but I've been studying nutrition and health for many years now. I've gone from this point to this point. I think maybe I've got a solution. I'm not going to mess with it. I know you've got your concerns, and I appreciate that, but my experience tells me something different than yours does. So,
Yeah, it does. How many
and
meals a day are you eating, David? We'll do a couple rapid fire questions here. I've still got a couple questions.
today I only ate once. Um, it was like, I had a combination of, I had some like chicken gizzards and some pickled eggs.
Never trying a chicken
Um,
gizzard yet.
yeah, normally I try to stay OMAD, like one meal a day. But since I've done the move, most days my body's telling me, "Hey, look, you need because you're still healing again." So, I've been eating, the last or so, I've been eating a couple of times a day. Occasionally, I'll have like a third small meal into the evening. And surprisingly enough, I haven't been putting on a ton of weight doing that. Like I'm up a couple of pounds, but last night I lost a couple of pounds. So,
I
it's
think
just
you were building muscle during this move to the new apartment.
I think there's some of that. I think there's definitely some of that going on, and plus, now that I'm getting some success with treating my thyroid naturally, that's making a difference as well. One of the biggest things that tells me it's working is the constant diarrhea has gone away.
Hmm.
That's one thing that if your thyroid's bad, that's one of the big symptoms that it can cause. Actually, the two big symptoms are, well, I should say three. You get tired a lot, of course, and maybe you can't lose weight anymore. And diarrhea is another one of the big symptoms. what was the other one? Oh, triglycerides. Your triglyceride levels will spike when your thyroid's underactive. So that's something to be aware of. Make sure this is why it's important. Make sure you're working with your doctor and getting these tests done, and just be ready to kind of defend choices. Sometimes you just have to because of certain social situations or whatever, and just make sure you take the time and do research and get the knowledge you need, because there's a lot of people that are trying to shut down us being able to eat meat. And
They'd have to shut my mouth down.
there's some there's some cities are trying to outlaw meat and or red meat, that kind of thing. It's like a war against meat. They want us on this
I
bugs
wish
or
they would
artificially
around here,
grown
man.
meat.
I wish they would, man.
Yeah.
They would catch a whole lot of hell from me, man. Now,
Well, this
what
is
is
the
it?
thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. This is the thing. We have to be prepared to fight for this way of life, because there are certain areas of the world where they're really trying to shut it down. I mean, look at Ireland. They just slaughtered 200,000 cattle for the sake of the to be green, to save the environment. And
Makes no sense. It literally
yeah,
makes
make
no sense,
no
man.
sense at all. I mean, yes, cows produce methane, but the same bacteria that
So
works
does
in their
their own ass. You know what I'm saying?
oh
Like
that
we fart too, man. They blame it all on the cow farts, man. Like those cows are really gonna fart enough to pollute a city. Give me a break. When you go on I've been interviewing beef farms lately, David. When I go to the beef farm, the grass around the cows is so green. Like if these guys
yeah
were farting out so much gas, you think the grass around them would turn brown or something. Like and
yeah I
and
know
I
it's
was
it
breathing the fresh air out there. I was like, it felt good to me. I didn't smell no gas, man.
yeah it's ridiculous on the face of it. I mean, the when you if you look at if you have grass out in the field that just decays on its own, no cow ate it. Right there's bacteria that breaks down that grass and it produces methane, because it's
Yeah.
the exact same bacteria that does the job there as in the cow's stomach, and it produces precisely the same amount of methane. Methane is also lighter than air. It goes to the upper atmosphere, and some of it escapes out into space, and the rest over time converts to oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Let the aliens have it, man.
Yeah.
Let it go out. Let it float out to space, man. You blow ass, man. Let it float out to space. Open the windows,
Yeah.
man. Now, David, when Fuzzy D is eating a week of carnivore, what's a week of carnivore eats look like for you?
Well, when I'm eating my normal OMAD, my daily routine, I'll get up in the morning. I'll make my morning tea, where I have I put it in some hot water, of course, and some apple cider vinegar and the ginger and a little Himalayan salt, and I'll drink that down, and then about 15 to 30 minutes later, I'll have my meal, and usually that's going to be probably 50 or 60% of the time. It's just ground beef that I do up with some salt and pepper, and occasionally I might throw in a little garlic or a little liquid smoke or something for some flavor.
If you put
But
bacon grease in your in with your ground beef, man, you're gonna piss the internet off just like I did.
hey,
What
I
do you
do that
think
all.
about
I've
that,
got
man?
if you look on my channel, I've actually got a video on how to make your own really super clean lard from, like, we butchered a pig. We bought
Hmm.
a whole pig and butchered it. So I did a video on how to render that down. So I use that whenever I cook. I'll throw some of that in, and then I throw in a little butter for the flavor.
Hmm.
And I'll probably eat pound and a half, maybe 2 pounds of meat in a sitting, and then I'm good for the day usually. Now, Granted, lately I've been eating twice a day, and so I'll have a little smaller meal each time. But although it's still more food in a day than when I eat OMAD, there's no doubt about that. But
What's your favorite cut of beef, David?
oh, I would have to say of what I've tried, the one I've liked the best is tri-tip.
Tri-tip?
Yeah,
I use that for my taco bowls.
yeah, yeah. It's got a flavor all its own for different from the rest of the meat. I've been wanting to try picanha, but I
I've
haven't had a chance.
never tried it.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to try
You
that.
ever have beef tongue?
Oh yeah, I love
Is
beef
it good?
tongue. Oh yeah, yeah. When I grew up on the farm, we were either doing cow's tongue or moose tongue.
Does the cow tongue smell like it had bad breath?
No. No, what we used to do is we would take a tongue and we would boil it and to cook it up, and then we would actually pickle it.
Pickled cow tongue, man. You're pickling
Yeah.
everything up there in Canada, my guy. What the
Oh,
heck, man?
pickled cow tongue is awesome, man. And when you eat it, it's a very smooth muscle. It's got a consistency and flavor similar to heart,
Okay, I've
but
never
it's more
tried
tender and
beef
smoother.
heart yet.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't tried beef heart?
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Have you had beef cheeks?
No, I haven't. I've been wanting to try them. I tried to save the pork cheeks when we butchered the pig, but my wife overruled me and gave the head to the dogs. So
Oh man, you got to take the cheeks off first, man. I had walleye cheeks. They were really good. If you catch a walleye big enough, you can cut the cheek meat out, and it's like little like popcorn walleye. It's amazing.
oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, never heard of pickled cow tongue though. But I've been interviewing beef farms, and the beef farm by me, one of them. Well, they both actually have them, but first one I saw it was at the Hickory Road Farm, and she's got just cow tongue after cow tongue. I'm just not that carnivore courageous yet, to try it. So
Well, I mean, I grew up on a farm, and my mom, when she grew up, she was a trapper, and so I mean, I've eaten all kinds of weird and wonderful meats, all kinds of wild meat, moose, deer, elk, rabbit, um, prairie chicken, beaver.
you had beaver?
I've had beaver. Yeah.
How does
Yeah.
beaver taste like? I've never heard someone say that one.
If it's young, it actually is quite good. It tastes a little bit like, I would say the flavor is kind of like duck.
Really?
And if it's a beaver that's a couple of years old, like 2 years or younger, it's nice tender meat, really tasty. If it's older than that, if you get something that's 3 or 4 years old, it's going to taste pretty rank. So it's
No
not,
old
not
beavers.
that good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Never heard of that. What's something else cool that you ate?
Oh, I've had alligator. I've had mako shark, wild
Mako
boar.
shark, dude. You and Rick, man, would get along really well. Because Rick said, he literally almost blends an iguana, man. Like he'll try to drink an iguana, man.
I'd try it. I'd try iguana. I got no qualms.
There you
I'm
go,
pretty.
Rick. Ship him up. He's down in Florida where they're all over. They're hanging on the trash can when he's trying to throw out the recycling. They're just all over the place. Rick has more free meat than any of us. I tell you, Rick, if you got some extra iguana, mail it up to David, man. Let him try some iguana. He says he likes the tail on the iguana.
Yeah, I've not something I've ever had an opportunity to try.
What about gator? What part of the gator do you eat?
I'm not really sure where the meat came from on the animal. We had a meat dealer up here that dealt in exotic meats. Mm-hmm. So he would come through town every couple of weeks, and you could place an order with him. And next time he came through, he'd drop it off. So he had all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff. I even tried frog legs.
Yeah, does that taste like chicken, like people say?
Not really. It tastes more like catfish.
Oh, really?
And I've had catfish,
Yep, I have catfish.
and I've had rattlesnake.
Never had that.
And
We ain't
yeah,
got no rattlesnakes in Wisconsin, man. Thank goodness.
a rattlesnake actually it does kind of taste like chicken.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it tastes like the dark meat.
Rick says gator tail usually, but he says gator legs are more flavorful. So and Rick, why are you picking on those short little gator legs? Gators got short legs, man, and here you are picking on them, man, trying to eat them. Oh man. Oh, he says iguana legs are like fish. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I love fish.
Rick,
Okay.
you like the gator legs, iguana legs, man. Keep the frog legs, every leg around away from Rick, man. He'll chew it up.
Yeah, I think we would get along quite well.
Yeah, yeah. You guys should interview each other. That would be. I would tune into that for sure, man. That would be a very interesting interview. Now, I asked. Oh, here's a good one. What carnivore YouTube channels do you like to watch, David?
Oh, let me see. Probably the ones. Now I have to admit, going in, I haven't actually watched any carnivore related videos since we moved.
How dare you focus on
Yeah,
your health in your life?
yeah, I've just been kind of trying to maintain, so I haven't been doing much studying. But probably the channels I like the most, of course, Dr. Barry, Dr. Chafee. There's some videos from Dr. Noakes that I like, but I don't see his stuff very often.
I'm trying to get Dr. Chafee to do a carnivore calendar for the ladies so we could secure the rest of the funds for the documentary, because I'm sure they'll buy couple calendars just in case one of the pages rips or something. They're gonna have a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's let me see, Homestead How. That's another good one.
Yep, Carrie, that's my buddy, man. It's like my best friend, man.
And of course, I've been, although, again, I haven't watched any of the videos since I moved, but I was keeping tabs on Bill from Alaska there.
Ew.
I can relate to so much of what he goes through. You know, I mean, I was bedridden for 10 years, so he's been kind of partially bedridden for a few years, and he's got a lot of weight to lose. I've been there, and although we've got a lot more to lose than I did and do, but yeah, Bill's an awesome guy. He seems like a really sweet guy, and yeah, maybe one day we'll connect. But
yeah, he's still a little shy, so give him some time. I think he's just looking to get some more results, and he'll boost his confidence in no time.
yeah, yeah. I've actually I want to try and take a little time and kind of catch up on see what everybody's doing, but
there's a lot of carnivore channels now that I can't even keep up with all the new carnivores I'm interviewing. Now, what are some future plans for your channel? I got your channel up here, Fuzzy Road to Health.
Well, I'm going to be getting back into the swing of doing some videos, but you know, I've got some ideas for cooking videos I want to do. I've got a series of experiments I'm going to do with cooking frozen steak and roast and stuff in the air fryer. I've been doing some experimenting with that already, and I've been pretty surprised with the results. I'm just trying to get the cooking method down pat before I start doing that. Being with the move and everything, I haven't been getting back to my studying. I went back to school, so I'm getting my certification for being a wellness and life coach. So I'm about 4/5 done. I've only got like another week of studying and writing tests to do to finish it. I've just got to be able to be in the headspace where I can study and retain it.
Absolutely.
So eventually I may split off a separate channel, but probably not. I'll probably just do some playlists that are specific to coaching side of things. I've got a couple Facebook, I've got a Facebook group and a Facebook page that are all I've got like the Fuzzy Road to Health Facebook page, and then I've got Fuzzy Carnivore Coaching that I've kind of put in place, and it's kind of ready to go. It's got a few members, then we go over some stuff from time to time. I've done a little bit of consulting, helped a few people get started on the diet. They're doing pretty well. I consulted with one lady from her hospital bed.
Oh,
She
really?
phoned, yeah, she phoned me from the hospital. I think she was in Toronto, and yeah, she phoned me. She was in the intensive care unit, and she's got myasthenia gravis as well. And she saw one of my posts on one of the myasthenia gravis groups about this diet putting me in remission. So
Mhm.
she tracked me down and asked me to do a phone consult with her. And so, yeah, she got out of the hospital and she started carnivore. I think that was a couple of months ago now, and she's doing really good now.
Wow.
So,
You
and it
guys,
was funny.
you're
I was
looking for
surprised
advice.
at
Tell
how,
David.
yeah, I was surprised at how easily she accepted it because she's a nurse by profession
Hey,
normally.
when
So,
you're at rock bottom, what do you got to lose?
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Mm.
exactly.
Now, David, before we wrap up, I like to ask everybody what's on your heart, what's on your mind. What do you want to speak to the people about while you got the opportunity?
Uh, I think one of the most important things as you go on in this lifestyle is learning to kind of love yourself all over again. That's a huge journey with a lot of obstacles for a lot of people, and especially when we've been sick for this long a time. Um, there's a lot of things that are going to come up as you're healing and getting better that you're going to need to deal with. And probably the biggest downfall to people on carnivore is peer pressure and depression. They maybe they hit a period of time where they're not getting the results that they want, and then right at that time somebody starts hitting them with some peer pressure, or their doctors convinces them to go off the diet, or something like that. It You have to really believe in yourself, believe in possibilities of the future, and stick with it. A lot of people seem to have problems with the sugar, getting off the sugar. Um, what many people don't realize is that sugar affects the brain the same way that cocaine and heroin does. It affects the exact same area of the brain,
Mm.
and fructose affects it even more. So if sugar affects your brain this much, fructose this much.
Mm.
Like it's terrible. If you look at the actual brain scans, it activates twice the area of the brain that just normal sugar does. So yeah, that fructose, corn syrup kind of stuff, that it's terribly addictive. It's physically addictive. And the food companies know that. That's why they put it in everything. So you have to be prepared to deal with some of this stuff. It's a simple system. It's a simple way of eating, but it's not easy all the time. Now, I was lucky. I had some extra motivation because I got such good results with my autoimmune stuff so quickly. That was all the motivation I needed to stick with it. But not everybody's in the same boat that I was. A lot of people, they're doing it for different reasons. Maybe they just need to lose a little weight and they're feeling kind of lethargic, so they're going to try it out. They're probably not going to have the same challenges, but they may not have the same motivations either. So find a community to join. If you're going to get into carnivore, find some Facebook groups that kind of align with the way you like to run your life or the way you think, and join up and start talking to people and sharing your story, and build your community, and that's going to really help give you the support you need when you start feeling down and you have some bad days. And probably the next best piece of advice I can give is don't live and die by the weigh scale, which is a fine thing for me to say because I'm not very good at that myself. But you know
Do as I say,
yourself.
not as I do, right?
Yeah. You know, I've spent a lot of time stressing over what the weigh scale says, but you know, a more accurate measure is, you know, a tape measure and how your clothes are fitting and how you're feeling. And just realize that some people, you know, if you're in it to lose a bunch of weight, not everybody can right at the beginning. Sometimes the body needs to heal. Sometimes for a substantial amount of time. Some people, it's taken them 12 or 14 months on carnivore of healing before they can start losing weight. And then they lose it like crazy once the body goes, hey, we're healed. Now let's lose weight.
Yeah, you gotta. Our bodies are magnificent machines. You just need to give it time to work its magic. You know, we didn't do all this damage overnight, and we're not going to fix it overnight. And I also wanted to piggyback off something you said, and then we'll get to the comments, the last of the comments, and we'll wrap up. Simple does not mean easy. Simple does not mean easy. Just because something's simple doesn't mean it's going to be easy. You have to use your willpower with your decisions. So you make a decision and use that willpower, and that's how you can turn the simple to easy. But just because something's simple doesn't mean it's easy. I just want to put that out there. It's simple to run a 5K. You're just running. You just keep putting one leg in front of the other, right? It's simple, right? Right? But does that mean
Yeah.
it's easy?
Yeah,
It's a
exactly
lot of
right.
running. I just people always get those two, like they're different words for a reason because they're not the same thing. So I just wanted to put that out there. All right, let's catch up on a couple comments quick, okay, David?
Yeah, you betcha.
No Insanity says hi, Bubba. Bubba must be in here. What's up, Bubba? That's my buddy, man. I talk to Bubba every day, you guys, and I gotta call him after here. I've got a very crappy cell phone, so I literally have to keep it plugged in all day. I didn't get a chance to call him. Even when I make like one short and I lose half my battery. So, um, you know, Sweet Nia's life. I'll try all iguana. Hey, we got someone who's willing to try iguana with you, David. Rick says duck wings are like turkey wings, David. Hmm.
Yeah, I like duck.
Yeah, you like duck?
Oh yeah.
Cheryl Edwards says tongue is so good I do the same, but instead of pickling, slice it, and before changing my diet, made a sandwich with it and barbecue sauce. So tender. Nice, nice. Don't tempt us now, Cheryl. Sweet Nia's Life. I had duck and deer meat, and you guys go subscribe to Sweet Nia's Life too as well. And put the pressure on her. We want to get her on chatting with carnivores. So, speaking of peer pressure, let's see. Rick says my channel is totally quacked. I'm sure it is, man. Let's see here. I am in the group. Oh, David's Facebook group.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did an interview with Bold Carnivore here a little over a month ago, just before I moved, actually.
What's your Facebook group called so other people can join it, David?
Same as the YouTube page. I've got two group. I've got one group and a page. The group is Fuzzy Carnivore Coaching, and the other one is just Fuzzy Road to Health.
Okay.
So spelt the exact same way.
Rick said he tried the vegetarian diet once, never again. Did you ever try vegetarian, David, or vegan?
No.
Nope. I never liked veggies, man. I never liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I ate a lot of veg, but yeah, I mean, I absolutely love meat. Always have. Grew up on a farm. Grew up eating meat. And
it always drives me nuts when I see people put ketchup on meat. I'm like, you're ruining it. Stop. Ketchup, my gosh, dude. So then when I see ketchup, I'm like, so I must have cooked it really bad, huh? You're dousing it in ketchup. So I did a bad job cooking, huh? Lucia, how you doing, girl? JT is such a good interviewer. Nice to meet David Fuzzy D. Thank you, and thank you for checking out David's story. You guys make sure you go subscribe to his channel as well. I really appreciate that. Rick, Charger Mopar, the 40-year carnivore. I was very inspired seeing JT in his video where he showed himself in the past. Thanks, Rick. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to show some of that old footage because I wasn't sure how you guys would think of me, or judge me from my past. So I wasn't, but you only live once, and is what it is.
Hey, we've all got a past, man.
Yep, yep. And your past doesn't make who you are, though. You determine who you are by making decisions.
Yeah, I've made a lot of bad decisions in the past. That's
But
for
we can
sure.
all start today making better ones, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yep. The past does not control us, folks. It does not control us, and I love that. What a powerful video. Thank you. Yep. Yes, it was. Thank you. JT's a powerful. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Sweet Nia, we have to be patient, and then the results will come. Trust the process. Exactly. Give it time, man. We didn't do all this damage overnight. It's not going to just magically float away. And who knows, man? He magically regenerated his disc in his back. So, man, just have faith, make good decisions, do the right thing, and let yourself be pleasantly surprised by the results. That's what
Yeah.
I would say.
Even my hair is getting darker.
I
See,
see that, my dude.
see this on the side? It all used to be the same color as right here, and my beard,
I'm telling you,
mustache.
carnivore diet is it's insane, man. I absolutely love this diet. Man. I'll never shut up about it ever, dude. Ever. No insanity. Here's a question for you, David. You still got time or do you got to run?
No, I still got time.
Okay, all right. I just don't want to hold you up here. Question: what school are you going to for coaching?
It's an online school based out of Calgary. Hang on a second. It is. Uh, where is my light? Okay. It's called IAP College.
IAP College,
Yeah.
Renee. Google that. IAP College. Check it out. You got the info. Carnivore Scott, how you doing? But we're all doing great. David's killing it on Carnivore, dude. He's lost a bunch of weight, man. He moved into a new apartment, man. He's coming up with new content ideas, man. He's eating more exotic meats than I think I'll ever get to in my life, man. He's killing it, dude, man. Kenny D says, "Gotta run, great life." Thank you for tuning in, Kenny. Thank you for spending all the time you could. I appreciate that.
Good to meet you, Kenny.
Right. Yeah, Scott. I know we got to echo. He's got a little bit of his. He's got a little bit of a hearing issue, so he has to have his speaker up, Scott. Okay, so we went through that a little earlier today. Okay. Um. Let's see. Okay, Sweet Nia says she will join. There, you're. I think she's talking about your Facebook group.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Nia. You are a sweet one, Nia. Let's see here. I'm looking for cues, guys. Looking for cues. Let's see. Yep, he's Scott says we have all made poor decisions to be sure. Yep, exactly, man. No one's perfect, man. We just do your best today. All we had yesterday is just a dream. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. All we have is right now. So start making better decisions right now, folks. Don't even wait. Yep, you saw the ducky. I put it on the screen here for you, Rick. Rick loves ducks. And Rick's one of my channel members, so I try to and he's one of my buddies too, man. Whether he's a channel member or not, man, I absolutely love Rick. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Now, I had a blast, David. Did you have fun?
I had a great time. I absolutely love doing these interviews. Um, it's part of my mandate to myself. I think it's part of my responsibility to share the healing that I've gotten so that others can find the same healing. I truly believe I was led to this diet, and that part of the responsibility I took on by accepting that direction and accepting the healing that came from it is to help others find the same thing, because there are so many of us out there that have no idea the damage food is doing to us. And anybody that I can help, I absolutely want to help. If I can help one person, it's all worthwhile. It's all worth the effort.
That's how I feel, man. So I mean, I definitely don't get as much views as like Carrie and Bill, which is just fine. But like, I'm more concerned about helping that person out there who needs to hear these stories. So that's why I have person after person on the channel with Chatting with Carnivores, because someone's going to hear this story, and if even if it's only one person, that can relate to you, that's great, man, because we helped another person get their life back. And it's I got my life back by Kerry sharing his story. So it's and if Kerry didn't share his story, I wouldn't be sharing anybody else's stories because I never would have heard about this diet. So that's why I'm just dedicated to this now, David, to just keep sharing stories, no matter how many views they get or don't get, because I know somebody somewhere is going to hear it and they're going to need that message and they're going to be like, thank goodness these guys had a big mouth and we're talking about this.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have a big mouth, man. And everybody says Kerry talks too much. God bless him for talking too much, because that's how a lot of us got on the carnivore diet, because he talks too much. So Kerry, I love you, dude. Keep on talking too much, man. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, he's Carrie's good people. Yeah, he's really doing a lot for the community, and
His
he
nickname
has
is Care Bear. I'm
yeah.
telling you, because he really does care, man. And it's just beautiful. He doesn't like that nickname, so I don't use it much. But Care Bear, he is, man. He really is a great guy. My weight loss life, how you doing? We're just about to be wrapping up here. Yes, God bless Carrie. God bless David, you guys, and God bless every single one of you that supports Chatting with Carnivores, because without you guys, me and David would just be talking to the wall here. We would just, and there's nothing wrong with me and him. We're going to talk privately after this, but it's nice when we have a community here that supports each other and helps this spread. So I tell people, man, we're the algorithm. So smash the like button, subscribe, share, comment. Like, the computer doesn't do nothing, man. We made the computers. We make the algorithm. Nothing will ever beat the human mind. I don't care how good AI ever is. AI was made by the human mind. So you guys, we run this thing and we always will. So you guys just realize the power in your hands. So when you do all that, the like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff, that helps David's story go out there, and that helps me and him get the message out there to the person who needs it. So um thank you. Thank you guys for doing that. And David, thank you for coming on here, sharing your story, man. I had a blast with you. And man, I got to try some of these meats you tried, man, like alligator and stuff. And you really, I put you on a list with Rick now as far as like things you've ever eaten. Like, you guys are so cool, man. I just, one day, hopefully I'll be half the carnivore you guys are, man.
Well, most of those exotic meats and stuff that I've tried, that was like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Nowadays, my diet mostly consists of beef, chicken, fish, little elk and moose once in a while.
There's an elk farm by me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking about trying it, but I haven't got off the ribeyes yet. But would you come back, David?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always happy to do an interview or participate in something that can help, or summits, that kind of thing. I'm always willing to get in there and do what I can.
Yeah, I want to have you back on for an update in the future, and I gotta still make the thumbnail for this Friday, but we're gonna be doing a carnivore hangout this Friday night. It starts a little late at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. I know it's a little late, but it's like a little thing we get to do, and we all get to kind of relax a little bit and just shoot from the hip, and we don't have to be so uptight. We could make some jokes and stuff. So I love my Friday night carnivore hangouts. And you guys, Carrie just put up an awesome video I made for him, and we did a video, me, Sean White from Intentional Carnivore, and Carrie from Homestead How. We all got together and made a video, and it's up on Carrie's channel. It's called Decision. You'll see the thumbnail if you guys could check that out, and then subscribe to David's channel. I would really appreciate if you guys could do both those things tonight for me. That would be awesome. And my
just want to toss out there real quick. If there's anybody out there that's trying to start their own carnivore YouTube channel or something like that, feel free to give me a call. I'm, these days I do, freelance video editing. I've got a professional video editing suite, so I'm can certainly help you learn some stuff. I've got actually another YouTube channel where I do tutorials on how to do video editing and run a YouTube channel, that kind of stuff. So
awesome, you guys. And if you need any advice, like I said, hit them up. And I'm sure, David, if they had some other problems with the diet, I'm sure you you would hit them back, right? If they left a comment on one of your videos and
Oh,
said, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm having
absolutely.
trouble."
I try and answer every comment that I get on a video.
Me too. And my goal is to answer every question I get or comment I get till I hit 100,000 subscribers. Because the rule of thumb is usually when you're around 100,000 subscribers, there really isn't enough time in the day to respond to all the comments you're
Yeah.
getting. But they say you should be doing it until you hit 100,000. And you guys, that's my goal. I would love to hit 100,000 subscribers. So, and I looked at the analytics. 57% of the people who watch Chatting with Carnivores are not subscribed. So if you guys subscribe to my channel too, that would mean a lot. But definitely hit up David's channel. Fuzzy Road to Health, man. I love that, dude. I absolutely love it. Now, my coach always says, first law of learning, you guys. Hopefully you're learning it by now. Repetition. So please replay this. We had some good laughs in here. We talked about gators, man, and beavers and all sorts of wild, fun stuff, man. And fart gas going out to the aliens. You guys, you missed a lot if you didn't. So replay this, rewatch it, and take some notes. Even there's good info in it, and there's value in David, and there's value in his story. And I appreciate you coming on, David. I really do.
Oh, you're very welcome. Happy to be here.
Yep. Well, you guys, that's it for this episode. We're wrapping it up. I'll see you guys tomorrow, as usual. But so thank you and goodbye. I love you guys. I'll do my duck face on the way out for Rick.